Welcome, Transformer fans. My name is Composite Enerjoe, and today we have a very special figure to review. This is going to be a first on this channel, and most likely the last. I don't really come across these often, if at all. But, yeah. So, I'm going to take a guess and say not too many of you out there know what this is. And and I don't know how many of you had the initial reaction I had when I first saw this, and thinking this was like some kind of fancy custom. Nope, this is a legitimate figure. This is real. This is a actual figure that was made by Takara slash Hasbro. This is, and please hold your giggles till the end of the presentation. This is a Transformers Collectors Club. Yeah, that's a first on this channel. And let's face it, most likely last. I mean, you never know, but I doubt I'll find another one of these. So this is a Transformers Collectors Club Deluxe class Thrustinator. Yes, that is the official name of this officially licensed official figure. Thrustinator. There's a reason, and it makes sense, but they literally they didn't have to name it this. Its official name is Thrustinator, which admittedly led me to some very awkward websites while trying to find this guy's information on this guy with that particular name. But I just found out that there's a whole category of medical items that can be found on eBay. So yeah, just be aware when looking up this guy, looking up information on this guy. So yeah, a Thrustinator. So if you can't tell, I'm like really excited to talk about this guy because it's one of those. I initially thought that this wasn't real. I didn't know this was a thing. I remember seeing images and I thought it was somebody's custom, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool reference. And yeah, no. And then I found this thing in person, which I'll get to later. It's to how this happened. Mainly just dumb luck. I found him, but yeah, let's get on with the figure. So yeah. So here we have him in his Techno Wasp form. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what this is called officially. But if you know what this is referencing, you'll get why I say that. But yeah, so this is a Techno Wasp kind of thing. It's not transmetal. It could have been. I thought that maybe that would have been a better mold for this. But nope. Because it's the Wasp turning into something else, which we'll get to later, and which explains its the awkward name. But yeah, this is I believe this is a repaint of a Beast Wars Neo or Beast Wars Second figure called Dirge Gun, which is the same thing, but it's just a different paint scheme. But it's a repaint. This is a repaint of that figure, but with a different head in robot mode, which we'll get to later. But yeah, basically the base of this is just the original Beast Wars Waspinator. So it pretty much transforms the same way with like one missing thing, which is this extra gun up here. Does rotate forward like so. And I'm going to mention it now. Apparently this centerpiece does move. And there's even ports here for what feels like is a hatch. That is actually sort of on purpose. That's just the carryover from the Waspinator mold. I thought this thing was like missing something, but no. When I did my research, turns out they all have this. It's just a carryover from the Waspinator mold because they're really reusing pieces from that. And yeah, this thing does fire missiles. And the missiles are stored here on the wing, which you can just pop off like so. Here's the other one. And you just plug this bad boy. And there we go. Like this. Here, the click. And then you just pull back. Oh, I said pull. Is it pull back or push? There we go. And it fires with quite a bit of force. And put it back on the wing and put this down. Okay. My figure does have some looseness to it, as you can see from his wings constantly flopping around a little bit. So it is loose because I don't know where this thing was stored in. But it's in pretty good shape. But it does have some loose joints. Articulation-wise, in this form, the wings are on ball joints. The back legs have a ball joint here and a ball joint here, with both hind legs. And these front legs, these four legs, have this motion, and that's about it. So now let's get into transformation, which is pretty simple. It's basically Waspinator without the which I was gonna say, this torso piece. I'll show it better later. There's a reason why it can kind of move, and I figured it out. So now transformation. Here's what we do. You take off, separate the arms, pull the arms, the head, and I get on the head. Pull out the legs, straighten out the knee, make sure this pegs into there, which on my figure is not the best connection, but it can do it. Second verse, same as the first. Adjust, peg, and then this centerpiece, this waist, flip up while adjusting. Oh, I guess it's a bit loose on mine. And then you split the bug head off to the sides. Split apart the bug head. Oh, my bad. You separate this. There we go. Separate there. Split them. Bring them down. And then there's there's a peg on this side and a port on this side. So you can just line them up. Oh, flip that. This flips down, but and come on. There we go. And with this head, just plug it in, revealing the very interesting head. Fold out the arms, adjust the bug arms, bug legs, and there we have Thrustinator in his robot mode. And what a robot mode it is. Let me get the figure out of the way before I go into like facts and history about this guy. So, okay, let's get a closer look at that head sculpt, and wow. And for those of you who know, I think looking at this head sculpt, you then see what the reference is. If you didn't before, I think you can kind of see it now. And the head is on a ball joint. So head is on a ball joint. Head is on a ball joint. This is on a ball joint. Very nice bend at the elbow. And there is here, this piece here can go forward and back. It's more for transformation, but you can use it. You know, use a little imagination. He does have, I guess, shoulder. Like, okay, his shoulder can go back and forth. Same thing on this side. Legs have a ball joint here, which again, it keeps separating on me, but it has a very nice bend at the knee. That's it. No waist, no wrists, and that's about it. The wings still have ball joints. The gun can still pop out forward, still usable. And that's it articulation-wise. So it's pretty decent. Again, it's just Waspinator. It's the original Waspinator's articulation, which is fine. And I'm not really going to show it. But as you noticed earlier, this, if you separate this, I'm going to show it as best as I can. This piece here can fold out, which allows this piece to move forward, which allows for this. I don't know how official this is, but you can do this. And then you can just hold your finger there and then aim it. So he has, I guess, a weird artillery mode, if that is a thing. Now, at first I didn't understand why, because it doesn't rotate all the way. So I thought maybe, oh, maybe this is to put this like underneath in the bug mode, in his beast mode. And he fires it like under instead of over. But I started thinking about it and I'm like, huh, unless the Dirge gun figure had like, there we go, had a weird artillery mode or something, or that's it, or there's more to it and I just don't know it. From what I gather, that rotation might be a carryover from the original Waspinator's ability to have to swap heads. Because in case you didn't know, the original Beast Wars, like the first lines, they had their regular heads and they had what were referred to as mutant heads. Some of which, funny enough, ended up being more. Hold on. Just checking up something. So yeah, there we have. Where was it going? I got lost and thought I was checking something. Oh yeah, the original figure had the torso would spin in order to swap between the two heads. The iconic Waspinator head was actually meant to be a mutant head. That wasn't the official head because he also had a more, I guess, humanoid robotic head. That was supposed to be the standard one. But yeah. So yeah, that I think is why the torso piece is they were just utilizing a piece that was already there. Torso, and also explains why there's like ports here for what feels like a flap is supposed to be there, and that was meant from that. And like traditional Waspinator, this piece here you slide out, and there you have his blaster. You have his butt blaster. I know it's not that. It's like it's his stinger launcher, I believe. And then he just kind of like tricky on mine for some reason. Go on there, and now he has his gun, which also takes the wing missiles. Oh, like so. Put it in like so, and fire. And the stinger launcher is a lot more forceful than the turret. All right, so that is, let me just put this back, take this, take this off, and plug this back in. Okay, so now, that is pretty much it for the figure itself. How is it? Honestly, it's a pretty good figure. It's Waspinator. It's Waspinator. The figure itself, in terms of like play feature, articulation, all that stuff, it's basically Waspinator from the 90s with some extra bits. Like the cool wings, the turret. I like that the missiles store in the wings, which is neat. And honestly, I'm a fan of the extra turret on his back. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the figure. Nice solid figure. If you like Waspinator, you'll pretty much like this guy. If you don't like that classic Waspinator, then I don't think this figure's for you. Especially since this guy's a massive reference to Waspinator himself. Okay, so now we get to the interesting part of the review, which is explaining this guy a little bit. So I think I mentioned it earlier. He is a repaint of a figure called Dirge Gun, or Dirge, I think, which I believe is from either Beast Wars 2nd or Beast Wars Neo. And essentially, it's all the same figure. This is just a repaint of that figure, but with a different head, which is this one. Which, again, for those who know, this looks like this is like a melding of two separate characters. Which now I have to get into what this figure is actually referencing and why his name is Thrustinator. So, in Beast Wars, so not in Beast Wars, you have, well, in Beast Wars you have the character Waspinator. We know him, we love him. That's what he is. He turns the big green wasp. So, fast forward to Beast Wars sequel series, Beast Machines. And bit of a spoiler, a bad guy in an enemy in that series, in Beast Machines, is a character named Thrust, who is like a Cybertron motorcycle. I'm not getting into the details of Beast Machines, but essentially there's a character named Thrust, and due to some chicanery, the Maximals are trying to figure out which one of, basically make a long story short, they accidentally find out that Thrust was actually originally Waspinator, who was then converted into the character of Thrust. He like lost his memories. He became basically kind of like a drone kind of thing, like mind controlled into becoming a faithful servant or something like that. Again, little hazy, but that is what happened. That was revealed. Thrust ended up being a Waspinator, so Waspinator was converted into Thrust. We got that. So this figure represents a scene that was not shown, which, by the way, I didn't catch it. I didn't say it, but I do like the cool Predacon logo there in the center on his chest. Kind of dig that. He's tough to stand. Loose joints and all. Okay. So that's what this figure represents. He represents the transition between Waspinator to Thrust, and that's why they went with the DBZ logic and just called them Thrustinator. Just, one from on, just added the names together. I felt like they could have done something else, but I get where they're going for. I get why they did it. I get what they're going for, and it's a cool reference. Wish he had a better name. That honestly might be the worst name I've ever heard on a Transformer. That's the worst one, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't like Rodimus Prime. I never liked the name Rodimus. I thought that sounds awkward. And Ultimate Expanse on that figure. That is terrible name. They should have called it something else. That of today, I think, was probably the worst name I've encountered so far was Ultimate Expanse. This beats it out of the water by a mile and a half. Thrustinator. Why? I mean, I get it, but I don't want it. Like, you get me? It's ridiculous. So that's what he is. That's his reference. Any more neat information? Oh, I said earlier, this is a Collectors Club exclusive character. And if you don't know what that is, that was a subscription service that was like between 2005, I want to say, from like 2005 to like 2016, 17, around there. Then they stopped it. But essentially, it was a subscription service. You basically paid monthly. And then every month, they like Hasbro would just send you a figure. And it was always a unique figure that was like exclusive to that. It was like a special character, etc. These figures never went to the store. You can only get them through the service. Waspinator is technically, and I was surprised when I saw this, apparently he is not one of the monthly characters. Because they had the monthly ones they would send you. He was actually part of a list of figures that you could buy like separately from them. So if this makes sense, apparently he was part of something called the second subscription or the second service or something. I don't remember what it was called. But basically, if you go to the website for the Collectors Club, on top of, and they started doing this like, this wasn't like in the very beginning, this was like way later, they started doing this, where you had your monthly characters, where you pay the subscription and you get a character each month. So after that, they then offered some bonus characters that you could buy. You can just order them straight from the website on top of the monthly ones you would get. Thrustinator here was one of those characters. He was on that list where you can order besides on top of the ones you would get monthly. He was the extra one. So this guy wasn't part of the monthly ones. He is a Collectors Club exclusive, but he was a bonus one you could get on the website for like a limited time. So that's him. And you're probably wondering how I found this guy, because again, I just got him very recently. I got him, and long story short, I was out thrifting. I found a guy. He was selling Transformers. I was looking at his stuff, and out in the corner in a little baggie, I see this guy. I pick him up. I look at him, and I'm like, no way. Because up until that point, I didn't know this guy was a real figure. I thought he was like somebody's custom. I had just like seen pictures. I've only ever seen pictures. I never knew this guy was an actual figure. I asked the guy what this was, and he just gave me like a vague general, oh, it's a Wasp guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Wasp guy in the thing. He's turning into the other guy. Left it at that. The guy didn't know what he had. I asked him how much. He gave me, here's the crazy part. He said 20. I paid him on the spot. Didn't argue anything, just paid it, took it home. Then at home, I did a little bit of research, and I found out this guy is actually kind of rare. Like, very rare. So rare that if you go on eBay, which I mentioned earlier, no one is selling him. Well, that's not true. One guy is selling him. There seems to be one seller on eBay who is selling this figure. No one else is selling him. As a collector who frequents that kind of thing, in case you don't know, yet that doesn't happen. You don't see that often. Especially with like Transformers, it's like someone always has something. But this guy, I don't know. This I think is what every collector hopes to find. And to me, I think up until now, this is my first one. Like I've gotten lucky with figures, getting them when they pop them in the store and all this stuff. But actual, like, I guess they call them grails. This would be a grail to me. I would call it something else. I don't like using that word. I'd rather call this my diamond in the rough. So he's like my Aladdin. This is my diamond in the rough because I found him in a bunch of other stuff. I don't remember what other stuff he had. I got this one and ran because it's like he might have had more stuff in there. He might have had like that TFCC I don't know, punch counter punch. That's the first one that popped in my head. Or that original, that first Nexus Prime might have been there. Didn't see it, but to be honest, I did look. I didn't just bolt it, but the moment I saw this guy, I just grabbed and went because everything else he had was like stuff that I've seen before. This was the unique one. So yeah, Thrustinator, my first and hopefully not last. My first Collectors Club figure. My first, as I call it, diamond in the rough. And honestly, I hope it won't be my last. I hope I find others. But it's like I don't really look for these guys because of how rare and like valuable they are. So it's weird. Me having this is weird. It wouldn't be weird if I was like maybe back in the day and I ordered it myself, like when he was available. But getting it now, like secondhand, and getting it at that ridiculously low of a price, like, my goodness. Like, I kind of feel bad for the guy I bought it from because he didn't know what he had. I didn't fully know what he had. I probably would have said something. Maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? I honestly just grabbed him because I'm like, I knew I had something rare. I didn't think he was that rare. Like, I was expecting a ruby. Turns out he was, like I said before, a diamond. So it's like he ended up being more valuable than I was expecting because I just knew he was rare. I didn't think he was that rare. So yeah, here he is. So yeah, this has been my review of the Transformers Collectors Club Deluxe Class Thrustinator. This is Composite Enerjoe signing off. Peace out and be safe.